According to one NFL insider, Woody Johnson already made the decision to move on from Aaron Rodgers well before Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn were hired. Wow, could the New York Jets trade up to the number 2 overall pick with the Cleveland Browns? We'll see. A lot to get into. We'll cover that and much more all coming up here on a Monday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic, Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
Almost played the intro twice there by accident. I appreciate you all tuning in here on this Monday evening edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. Monday, February 24th, 2025. Like I said, can't thank you enough for all your support. You guys are the best. Like I said, can't thank you enough. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's completely free and it helps us grow significantly. Lets other Jet fans find out what we're doing here every single night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here to talk all things New York Jets. Now, normally on Mondays, we are joined by Nick Faria of Athlon Sports in his weekly spot. However, Nick is flying down to the Combine, so he's unable to join us this week. However, Nick, right back in his weekly spot next week throughout the entirety of the offseason, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, we're joined by Gunny Gumby of New York Jets Situation Report in his weekly spot. So it's only me tonight, no Nick, but he will be back next week. Like I said, he's flying to Indianapolis for the Combine. But hey, I'm still here. You guys are in the chat, so I can't thank you enough. Some big news that I officially announced right before we went live today. Boy Green and I are doing a live watch party for the first round of the draft this year, April 24th, 2025. We start at 7:15 p.m. It's going to be over a 5-hour show starting at 7:15, ranging throughout the entirety of the first round of the NFL draft. And guys, we have some blockbuster guests. We're talking former NFL GMs, former players, current players, analysts, broadcast personalities, and much more joining us. So check that out if you haven't already. It's updated on my channel. So after the show's over, pop in there, set a reminder so you're notified when to go live. Another way to help support us here on the show is contributing to our membership raffle. Every membership you gift gives you a ticket into our raffle, a Joe Klecko signed jersey, a Mark Gastineau signed jersey, a Bill Parcells signed photo, a free item from our merch store, and a channel emoji among the prizes we're giving away this month. So the raffle, we're going to draw the winner on the 28th, but this month we're going to end the raffle on the 26th. Counting today, you only have 2 more shows to gift membership. So get in on the membership raffle if you haven't already. Give more, the merrier, the more, you're able to, the more tickets you're able to unlock, gives you a higher chance to win one of our prizes. Also, it's not only a membership, but every $2.99 super chat also gives you a ticket as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe, keep the questions coming. We'll get to those if you want to call into the show. You could do so with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. But before we go any further, talking about Josina Anderson's report with the New York Jets, we have a spree of gifted memberships. Jeffrey R. comes in with 20 gifted channel memberships. If you hear your name called, thank Jeffrey for the memberships. Jesse P., Phenom, Tan Bongvli, TD KB, Zachary Berner, Teresa, Peter Bundras, Rob V, Hader Ali, Tyson Manning, JD, BLK Jesus, David Neves, MC Mays, Rich, Michael Palmero, G Star, Donnie Alfred, B Show 58, Armand. And then Rick Kent comes in with 10 gifted memberships. Rick, thank you so much. If you hear your name called, you got a membership from Rick. Taz Tactics, our guy Hep, Benny Bronx, Prestige Shotgun, Mike Kaskick, Yannalee Watson, JD Jets, Ray Jet 62, L Train Anderson, Andrew Brunswick. You were all members. 10 from Rick Kent, 20 from Jeffrey R. Those raffle tickets will be added up shortly. I can't thank you guys enough for all your support. 30 memberships in the span of about 10 seconds. So, wow, you guys are the best. Can't thank you enough for all your support. Like I said, any questions, throw them in the chat. If you want to call into the show, you could do so by using the pinned comment at the top of the chat. But here it is. Today, Josina Anderson, who was with ESPN for a long time, she was with CBS for a little while now. I think she just got a job writing for Bovada. She's one of the most well-known NFL insiders, one of the best NFL insiders that was very, very accurate about the Jets throughout the entirety of the offseason, the coaching search, just overall rumors around the organization. So this is a column that she wrote today for Bovada Official. It's like a sports book. She's now with them. Here it is. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. It was a multi-part article. So I read it. I had some takeaways. My takeaways pretty much aligned with Play Like a Jet. Follow them on Twitter if you haven't already. So I took this from their Twitter page. Some of the key takeaways Scott Mason of Play Like a Jet noted. So here's what they are. We'll read them and then we'll go through them one by one. Rodgers' decision was mostly made before AG and Muji were hired. Same with it. Some within the Jets organization think Ulbrich deserved a real shot at the Jets head coaching job. Players love Rodgers, who's very generous. Tyrod has a lot of key supporters in the organization. Cleveland, a team to watch for a potential trade-up. I'm going to start with the Aaron Rodgers news. Now, this is really interesting because we've heard some reports indicating that similar to what Anderson's saying in the sense of Woody Johnson already made this decision before Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji were hired. It's a foregone conclusion. Boom. No way Aaron Rodgers is coming back. He's gone. Woody doesn't like him. Too bad. So sad. He's gone. And then we've heard some reports saying it was complete. It was the decision was entirely Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji had the free reign to make that decision. I think when it comes to these reports, you obviously have the extreme to both sides. What I tend to like to do with these reports, I draw the conclusion somewhere right in the middle. I think this is what happened. This is not sourced, if I had to make a relative guess here based on all the different reports we've seen, I'm sure it went something like this, in my opinion, at least. Woody Johnson's made it abundantly clear he did not want Aaron Rodgers back, but at the same time, it's been reported he was open to anything. I'm sure his stance was, if Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji asked him for his opinion, I'm sure his stance was, I don't want him back. However, I don't think Woody Johnson said, I don't care what you guys think. I don't care that I just hired you. We're moving on from it. If I had to make a guess, it was something like, I wouldn't preferably, I would not want him back, but it's your team now. I just hired you guys as the next head coach and general manager. If you guys want him back, okay, we will make it work. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle, and that is the middle. Because there's the extreme of, wow, the decision was fully made before Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji were hired, like we're seeing here from Anderson. And then we've seen reports from outlets like The Post. We've seen reports from outlets like SNY indicating, well, Woody was always in the boat of, not that. That's the middle. We've seen reports from other outlets where the decision was completely left up to them. I'm in the boat that Woody Johnson did not want him back, but he also gave Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji some say. I just don't think he made the decision right away. I don't care what you guys want. We're moving on. That goes back to my statement of the truth has to fall somewhere in the middle, in my opinion. So I think that's where it is. I appreciate you tuning in. Smash the like. Subscribe. Next up on this list, the most pathetic one. Most pathetic by far. Some within the Jets organization think Ulbrich deserved a real shot at the head coaching job. This is just laughable. I don't even want to waste time on this. We're talking about someone who's 3-9, coming in as the interim head coach, was stoic on the sidelines like Robert Saleh. Almost literally should have been 2-10, except the Jaguars are absolutely terrible. Ulbrich literally tried everything he can pretty much to lose the game, botching the clock at the end, having Breece Hall walk his way into the end zone instead of going down at the 1 yard line. So some think Ulbrich deserved a real shot at the head coaching job. Laughable. Penalty numbers were up. It was 82. You were recording 75 to 100 penalty yards, literally a game that Ulbrich was the head coach. Just an absolute mess. So the fact that some in the organization believed he wanted to believed he deserved a real shot at the head coaching job. Again, if it was 3-9, but the Jets were playing hard-nosed football, they were, lost all 11 games, lost 9 of the 11 games by one score. That wasn't the case. They got blown out in about 3 games. Coaching was terrible. Neither scheme was effective. Discipline was incompetent. Come on, guys. Come on. What are we doing here? Next up, players love Rodgers, who was very generous. I can see that. I know a lot of people have been vocal on social media. Jermaine Johnson put out a whole speech of, Rodgers lending him his jet to go fly out for his Achilles surgery. Rodgers was a nice guy. Players seem to like him. But this is a Parcells-like move by Aaron Glenn, in my opinion, to move on from Aaron Rodgers in the sense of not having a celebrity quarterback, and he's not always going to appease the players. This is a Parcells move that was made by Aaron Glenn. So, that's my take on what the move was like overall, but I can understand why, players would have really liked Rodgers. And then there was a tweet from Jordan Travis the other day about how the narrative in the media about Rodgers is crazy and he's a great guy. I could see that. Next up, Tyrod has a lot of key supporters in the organization. Again, something else I could see. He won the team's Good Guy Award this past season. I'm big on Tyrod. The thing is he able to stay healthy? Now, something else that wasn't in this tweet here from Scott Mason that I wanted to throw in is Josina Anderson noted that the Jets are super, super high on Tyrod Taylor. I knew the old regime was super high on Tyrod Taylor, and she's apparently noting that Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are also really high on Tyrod Taylor. I like Tyrod Taylor to come in as the day one starter, but you need to have some sort of backup plan behind him, whether that's adding a veteran in free agency, drafting a guy, or both. If you roll into the season with Tyrod Taylor, Jordan Travis, Tyler Shuck, that's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. I think ideally, I think it looks something like this: Tyrod Taylor, Will Howard, or Kyle McCord, and then you throw in who's another one, Hendon Hooker you trade for, something like that. I don't think you can run in this season with Tyrod, Travis, and a draft pick. I want a veteran. I know I said drafting a guy, but if you draft a guy and have him as your backup, I also want another veteran in the building. I want to add 2 quarterbacks minimum. I want to add 2 quarterbacks this offseason, not minimum. 1 minimum. You have to add 1 no matter what. You can't run into the season with, Adrian Martinez as your 3rd string or potentially as your backup and Jordan Travis sitting there as well. That's just even more of a recipe for disaster. I think the best case scenario, though, is you sign a veteran in free agency, you draft someone, and then you have Tyrod. Preferably that guy in free agency is Justin Fields, and that guy through the draft is Kyle McCord or Will Howard for me. Speaking of the draft, Anderson also notes here, Cleveland is a team to watch for a possible Jets trade up. Now, look, we've heard the talks recently. The Jets want to trade up for Cam Ward. But all the talks have been trading up to the number 1 overall pick with the Tennessee Titans. Look, Cleveland's interesting because they don't. I could see them going into the season with a veteran quarterback, like re-signing Jameis or adding someone else in free agency. I don't think they're going to draft a rookie quarterback, but I could see something. Maybe some team wants to come up and they'll throw Myles Garrett in that package. Maybe something like that, or you trade Myles Garrett, pick up a ton of capital, and then you're comfortable trading out the number 2 overall pick to collect even more capital. So I could see why they'd be interested in trading back, but I just think trading up right now is a stupid option for the Jets, giving up future assets. I just don't see it because there's not one player there. Like Abdul Carter is a really, really good football player. Cam Ward's a good quarterback. Travis Hunter's a good football player. I don't think any of those guys are worth trading up for, though, especially when it comes to giving up multiple first-round picks and multiple second-round picks in the future. No, thank you. And let's be real, like I said, Abdul Carter's a really, really solid player. He's my number 1 player in this year's class. Travis Hunter's number 2 for me. I wouldn't trade up for either one of them. While they're good players, it's also a weak class. So that's what I make overall of those main keynotes on Josina Anderson's article that she wrote for Bovada Official earlier today. She teased at it a few days ago. She said something like, Jet fans, I'll have something coming for you soon. And now she released it today. So those are my main takeaways from Josina Anderson's article. Appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you smash that like, subscribe to the channel. Keep the questions coming. I'll get to those if you want to call into the show. You could do so by using the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Where were we here? Hep in the building. That's how you got a membership. Happy to see you tuning in. Appreciate your support. As always, Caden says Glenn and Muji speaking tomorrow. Glad Glenn and Muji are speaking tomorrow. Yeah, for sure. Starring Glenn, Darren, Muji said to address. So Muji's at 12, I think, and then Glenn's at 12:15. I'll be in school, so I can't obviously react to it live. I'll be on 8 p.m. no matter what, though, tomorrow with Gunny Gumby from New York Jets Situation Report in his weekly spot. So it might not be the main headline of the video, but we'll certainly talk about it. If something really, really juicy comes out of it, sure, it'll be the main headline, but we're going to be talking about it no matter what. And Velad, I knew it was all Woody. Like I said, I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle of the fact that Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji had the full opportunity to make the decision, and then the flip side, the far left side is, oh my God, Woody Johnson, didn't give these guys a chance. It's somewhere in the middle, in my opinion. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the building. Hey everyone, happy Monday. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate your support. Caden, when will Sauce and Garrett get extended? From what I've seen, I don't think the Jets are really in a rush to extend either one of them. Garrett, I'd say Garrett and Sauce probably next offseason. Yeah, out of that class, Garrett's the only one I feel really comfortable just paying right now, but I would still wait it out a little. I think they're going to try to orchestrate, those deals in a similar time range. That's what I think they're going to try to do. because Jermaine does not deserve an extension this offseason by any means, coming off the Achilles injury. Brees, I don't think he's going to get an extension in general. Back to Jermaine, though, they're going to have to evaluate him at the after the end of the season coming off the Achilles. Brees, I just don't think gets one in general. There's a chance he might be traded in my eyes. I think Garrett and Sauce are potentially Garrett, Sauce, and maybe JJ are the guys who come back next on longer term deals. It's the way I view it. Where are we? Where were we? Oh, Sco, fellow Mets and Nets fan in the building. Sco, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate all your support on the show. Cadence Sherwood probably said that Caden, she used quotes from the sources she had on this situation. It sounded either like a coach or an executive. It sounded more like a lower tier coach. It certainly wasn't a player. I think though. I don't think it was a player. Caden, that took Tyrod one game to get Garrett a touchdown. It took Rodgers 3. It was in garbage time with prevent defense. I'm the first to say Tyrod Taylor had a great game that day, but at the same time, it was prevent defenses and in garbage time. Here's the thing: there were some takeaways though. He was accurate. Number one. Number two, he still showed he was an athlete. Like Tyrod Taylor is a good quarterback when he's healthy. He's competent. That's why I've been on the record saying competent coaching next year. You fill a few of these holes. You hit on your top draft picks this year. It's not crazy to go 9-8, 10 and it's not crazy to think of the possibility of going 9-8, 10 and 7 with Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. I just think a lot of people always remember while this team hasn't had a winning record in over a decade, haven't made the playoffs, and now if they don't make it this year, going to be 15 seasons. I think that's why people are shying away from. Heck no, Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields can't go 9-8, 10 and 7 with us. Justin Fields comes in for one solid season. He's going to be 26 years old. He comes in, can lead you, get 7 starts. He can go 4-3. Tyrod give you 10 starts. He can go 5-5, or vice versa. They're both average quarterbacks at the NFL level. And that's why I say with a competent defense, with a supporting cast, you hit on a few draft picks. It's not crazy to think 9-8, 10 and 7 next year. Sharon exactly signed Fields and draft McCord. The thing is, what is Kyle McCord's role? Is he going to come in and be a third string guy and push Jordan Travis basically off the roster? Here's the thing. I think what the Jets are going to want to do, I don't think they will sign a veteran and draft one, although I think it's the smart move. I don't think they're going to do that, but here's the thing. I don't think they do that because if they draft a guy, I think they're going to want to see him at some point during the season. Whether that's doing what the Patriots did and trotting out the veteran and Tyrod Taylor for the first 5 games it was of the season, and then letting the rookie take over. Something like that. I think if the Jets draft someone, they're going to want to see him for a few weeks at some point this season, whether it's, week 3 through week 17 or week 14 through week 17. I think they're going to want to see the guy they draft at some point. Jeffrey, ideal move is trade down. It depends who's on the board. If Ted McMillan's on the board, I'm taking him. If Mason Graham's on the board, I still have to look. Mason Graham's on the board, I'd look around, see what a team's willing to give up. I like Mason Graham, but there's some technique issues. How he's going to be a scheme fit for the Jets. I just don't think if he's on the board, I just don't think it's a sure thing you take him. He's a solid player. I just don't think it's a guarantee that you take him right away. Sorry, I missed this comment from Hep. Hooker might come cheap. I'm big on Hendon Hooker as a backup quarterback option. Has a similar ceiling to Jordan Travis, has a similar floor. Someone who was a Heisman finalist before he got injured his senior year. I mean, no other team except the Lions obviously has more insight into Hooker than the Jets, with Aaron Glenn as their head coach, Engstrand as their OC, Hayden as their O-line coach. A lot of connections to the Jets offensive. A lot of the connections to the Jets overall coaching staff. Alan, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate your support. 2025 is a retool, trading up his asinine. Exactly. Great point here, Alan. I understand if this is a year or two ago and you don't have Aaron Rodgers, you're trying to trade up for a quarterback. So the biggest thing for the longest time was we're a quarterback away. We're just one piece away from really bolstering this roster and taking it to the next level. That was the thing for the longest time. It's not this year, though. This isn't an all-in season. It isn't. Not. This season, like you said, Alan, is a retool. You need to add a few starters in free agency. You need to add a few starters for the draft. You need to hit on a few draft picks immediately if you want to have success this season. This isn't the year where you're one piece away. You need to draft a starter. You need to draft a starter no matter what. Last year when they drafted Olufashion, it was because they had that flexibility. The roster was so strong last year. They had the option to draft a depth piece. This year, that's not the case. There's no drafting Jackson Dart at 7 and having him sit, or just drafting him at 7 in general, or just drafting him in the first round rather in general. So I agree. Trading up is crazy. Billy, appreciate you tuning in. Could they bring Teddy Bridgewater back as quarterback number 2? I don't think so. I think he's done. I think he basically went to the Lions for a few weeks, like, hey, I'll have some fun. Back up. I don't think he expected to get in the game, but he did in the playoff game. They basically came straight off his couch from coaching high school football. I think there's a better chance the Jets land Hendon Hooker next year than Teddy Bridgewater. Caden says I can watch it. I'm out of school tomorrow, luckily. Nice, Caden. I didn't know you were... Are you my age? Still in school? Caden, are you my age? Let me know in the chat. I had no idea. Let's go. Connor, did you see Soto's home run on Saturday? Yes, I did. And I was watching that game, and the pitch before it, I think it was a changeup, just, high. It was a high changeup. I was like, that could have been the home run. I saw a swing. He was swinging for the fence, and then the next pitch, second and left is bad. I just said goodbye. That was crazy. First at bat as a Met hits a home run. I also saw the news that Sean Manaea is going to start the season on IL. So I don't want to get too deep into it because I know it's not a Met show, but I did a Met show on this channel when Frankie Montas got injured, and he's set to start the season. For a team that's looking to run with a 6-man rotation, they have 2 of the supposed 6 guys out now. They're going to have to roll with 5 guys. Who are those 5 guys? This opens up a real opportunity now. If Brandon Sproat has a great spring, he has the potential to start the year in the rotation. It's not the craziest thing. Not the craziest thing. Billy, maybe Glenn and Muji are here because they were all in on Rodgers gone during the interview, and some of the other candidates wanted Rodgers back. Billy, Thomas Dimitroff, who sat down with Jake Asman, great interview by Jake as always, and it was also reported by Zach Rosenblatt. A lot of the candidates didn't want Rodgers back. In the meeting, that was one of the main questions, according to Dimitroff, and another report said that not a lot of the candidates wanted them back. So I like the thinking there, but I don't know if that's it. Hep, give Sherwood Mosley contract. Sherwood's, I think, going to demand that 3 years, $30 million, something like that. 3 years, 25, 3 years, 30. He's going to ask for a lot of money. And the linebacker position is super interesting when it comes to a depth standpoint. I was talking about it with Tigo the other day when we had him on the show. Like, the Jets could either go into April preparing for the draft with so much linebacker depth or being so thin, because there's the chance that they re-sign Jamie and Sherwood, and then CJ Mosley decides not to retire and he comes back on a reduced salary. And then you have so much depth. Or, boom, both of those are gone. Both of those guys are gone. And that opens up, your two main starters. Well, you obviously have Quincy, but 2 of your 3 main linebackers are off the roster. Ultimately, what I think is going to happen, I think Mosley's going to come back, and then Sherwood's going to walk. I think that's what's going to happen. Jets worldwide, our guy Snowball in the chat. Appreciate you tuning in. Connor, who do you consider the face of the franchise at this point? Like Aaron Glenn, probably. Probably Aaron Glenn. Overall, Aaron Glenn, if you want to go with a player, Sauce Gardner still. But if it's just anyone, coaching staff, players, it's Aaron Glenn. Caden Mosley should be released soon, LOL. No, I don't think so. I think he should come back on a pay cut, because if you move on from him, you lose money. You might as well keep him as a depth piece here. I don't think moving on from him is the right case at all. David, Billy, our Lions fan, David D. So he has some insight here. Billy, I think Aaron Glenn would be thrilled to have Teddy in the Jets quarterback room, but Teddy seems committed to continue coaching, being a high school football head coach. Yeah, that's what it is. That's pretty much what I just mentioned, David. And Valette, getting a franchise quarterback is not optional. This is the offseason priority. First off, unless you want to trade 2 first-round picks, which I would be on board with for Kyler Murray, you're not finding a franchise guy, and maybe try Justin Fields for $8 million next year. As the 26-year-old who's shown that glimmer of hope, has improved every year with incompetent coaching and incompetent weapons. That's why Justin Fields, guys, $8 million. You're looking for a franchise guy. He gives you, I'm not saying he's the franchise guy, but he's shown the most potential among the available options. 1 year, $8 million? Who says no? Dino, what are the chances we give Sherwood a contract? He played so good and he's an absolute dog. We offer him a contract, or he takes the offer. It's the main question. I'll say that I'll just take this as re-signing. 35%. I think he goes to Atlanta with Ulbrich. That's what I think happens. I don't think he's going to come back. Caden, thoughts on Tim Patrick? Tim Patrick's a solid wide receiver 3. I think he'll sign here in free agency. Has a connection to Muji from Denver. Has the connection to Glenn, obviously. This past season with the Lions, I think he had just over 350 yards this season. Solid wide receiver 3 option, below average 2. It's hard to look at him based on last season's numbers because that they have so many solid pass catchers in Detroit with Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs catching the ball out of the backfield, David Montgomery, all those guys. So it's hard to really look at him based on his time in Detroit. Jeffrey, I would like Stafford. I'm not giving up multiple first-round picks for Matthew Stafford at this point in his career. Again, I just plucked the $8 million for Justin Fields at that point. Not into giving up multiple ones and assets for someone who's in his 30s, like Matthew Stafford. Well, I think only has a few more years left in the tank. Also asking for $40 to $50 million. At that point, you should have just kept Aaron Rodgers. Would have been cheaper. You wouldn't have to give up anything. No, thank you. Jack Talks Jets in the building. Guys, shoot Jack a follow on YouTube, fellow Jets content creator. Jack, I don't have a guest tonight, so Colin link is pinned. I see you're still in the chat. Colin link is pinned if you want to hop on with me and talk some Jets. Says, this year I feel the Jets are taking it slow and not immediate winning, and of course I want to win, but I like the patience so far. I agree 1,000%. That's what I've been saying. This isn't an all-in year like the past few seasons where the mindset is, well, you're just a quarterback away. This team doesn't have that mentality. They have so many holes that you need to fill. And goes back to my original point I've been making for weeks. Don't judge Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji based on the record right away. If they go 5-12, I'm sure there were some reasons they didn't fill in all those holes. Maybe you would judge them off, did the culture improve? Did the coaching improve overall? Were you not allowing 80 penalty yards a game? That's what you judge them off in year one, not exactly the record. So, again, this isn't the same win-now team like we've had the past few seasons. Wildwave, trade a 6 for Hooker if you can't get Fields. Trade a 6 for Hooker and get Fields. That's like my dream plan. Excuse me. I don't think they'd take a 6. I think they're looking for a 4th or a 5th if they want to move on from Hooker. I'd trade a 5th round pick for Hendon Hooker. Who are you getting in the 5th round this year that is better than Hendon Hooker? Will Howard's not going to be there. Kyle McCord talks at Tyler Shook. I read an article from Zach Rosenblatt today from The Athletic of Tyler Shook, who's been in college for 7 years, being a first-round pick. Yeah, I'm not drafting anyone in this year's class unless it's Will Howard or Kyle McCord for me. Caden says, yeah, I'm 15. Well, it's nice to have another member of the youth here. Caden, appreciate it as always. Greg says no trading up at all in the first round. I just don't think it's worth it. Who are you trading up for? I just don't think it's worth giving up assets for someone who's not going to come in and, really revitalize the franchise. If you're going to trade up for Abdul Carter, you want him to come in and completely. At that point, I would rather trade the 7th overall pick for Kyler Murray than trade up. I would rather trade a first and, a first, a second, and a third over the next few seasons for Kyler Murray than trade up. Because at least that's a quarterback. Abdul Carter isn't worth giving up multiple draft picks for. He's a great player, but how much is he going to be able to come in year one and dominate? That's the question. Clay pitched great, though. The thing is, what did he get, 3-4 innings? That's the same amount he's pitched as a reliever. The biggest thing with Clay is how is he going to adjust going back into the starting rotation. He struggled in the minors for a little bit, struggled at the MLB level for that in a little bit. So he did pitch great, 3 perfect innings. However, I want to see what he looks like in, 5, 6, 7 innings. That's pretty much one of his longer outings as a relief pitcher. That's where I am on Clay Holmes. Tom, everyone says wait until 26 to draft a quarterback, but what if we win 10 games and pick 15th? Do you? Yes. You still do. I think signing Justin Fields, even if he has a great year, that doesn't prohibit you from drafting a quarterback next year. Great question, though. Really, really solid question. You draft a quarterback, though, in my opinion, no matter what. Because 10 games, It depends. Actually, it depends who's the quarterback. I would still most likely do it, but it just adds a little more to my opinion if you're saying who's the quarterback. If it's Tyrod Taylor and Kyle McCord, sure. Like I want to draft a quarterback no matter what next year. No harm if you draft a quarterback in round 1, in my opinion. Maybe it was a fluke year. Maybe Justin Fields comes in, starts all 17 games, goes 10-7, and he gets paid the bag somewhere else. Then you draft a quarterback, re-sign Tyrod for 1 year. You got Jordan Travis. That's a great scenario, in my opinion, for me. Where are we in the chat? David Wild, I think Derek Barnes would be on the Jets' radar. Screen off ball linebacker and edge rusher if he hits the open market. And it was heard a lot this past season. David D. Rosenblatt linked him to the Jets. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes to the Jets. Again, a lot of these linebackers for England and Steve Wilkes are going to be scheme dependent. And especially with the Jets expected to be very thin at linebacker, I could certainly see it. David D comes in with 10-pack of gifted memberships. He's a Lion. We'll give him a Jets chat. Thanks so much for your support. If you hear your name called, you are now a member. Thanks to David D, Bobby Cruz, Cap 10 Candor, MJ from Jax, Dennis Gorman, Mike V, Nick Diodoro, Aaron Gertz, Jay Burney, Nestor Bolden. You are all members. Oh, and Peter. Thanks to our guy, David D. 10 more raffle tickets for you, David. Can't thank you enough for all your support. That's the paid way to support the show. Get into our membership raffle. Free way that everyone can do is smashing the like and subscribe. We have 31 of you in the building on YouTube, 25 likes, so please hit the like button. Please make sure you are subscribed. It's completely free. Helps us grow significantly. Keep the questions coming in. We'll get to those. If you want to call into the show, you can do so by using the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Let's go over to the phone lines. Our guy, Jack Talks Jets, is next up here on the program. Jack, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, Connor? Happy to be on here. I actually have a couple of questions for you. If for number 7, I know you were talking about Mason Graham before, but how do you? I apologize again. I just started tuning in a couple minutes ago. If you said this already, but how do you feel about Tyler Warren if we pick him at 7? Because I feel like it's uncertain so far of our tight end future.
Yeah, Jack, that's a great question because tight end room is, like you said, very uncertain. Tyler Conklin, pending free agent. Kenny Yeboah, pending free agent. Jeremy Ruckert's a cut candidate. So, obviously, they need a lot of help at the tight end position. This is a stacked overall, though, tight end class. You mentioned Tyler Warren. There's Colston Loveland, Mason Taylor, Harold Fannin Jr., a lot of names in the Elijah Arroyo, just to name a few there. I really like Warren. It depends who's on the board. Like if Ted McMillan's on the board, I'm taking him. But if you can't find someone to trade back with, Ted McMillan, Mason Graham, they're off the board. I would be all on the board with Tyler Warren. We're talking about 6'6", 260 pounds, yak machine, able to get up, win contested catches. He reminds me of Dallas Clark from Iowa.
Me too.
Back in the day. So I'm really big on Tyler Warren, Jack.
Yeah, and I heard you mentioning that you'd really be open to drafting. Was it Kyle McCord or Will Howard, or was it both?
Both of them. I would be open to both of them.
So, what do you have anything against Cam Ward? Because in my opinion, I believe that Cam Ward is the definitive QB1 in this draft. I really like his pocket presence. I like his awareness, and I really like how he has good mobility and great awareness in the pocket. So, I want to get your thoughts on why you think Cam Ward isn't really like. Do you trust Cam Ward, or is that the situation here with you?
One thing here quickly, Jack, before we answer that question. Jets Media, our guy Richie comes in with a $20 super chat. Richie, I can't thank you enough. He says, keep grinding, Connor. You're a star in the making. Richie, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your support. As always, follow Richie. I'm sure you guys have, but if you haven't already, shoot Richie a sub.
What's up, Richie?
One of the best Jets content creators in the world. So give Richie a sub. He's the best. Richie, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. That's 5 raffle tickets for you. Can't thank you enough as always. And follow Roundtable Sports. I mean, they're doing everything. They were down at the Super Bowl. They were down at the Senior Bowl. So give Richie a follow. Give Roundtable Sports a follow. Richie, thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for the $20 super chat. You're the best, my man. Jack, so you mentioned Cam Ward there. You said, do I not trust him? Sorry, reiterate the question there quickly. My bad.
So, like you said, you like Kyle McCord and Will Howard the best in this draft, right? And
no, not the best. They're not my so sorry, don't mean to cut you off there.
That's
but
right.
Will Howard is my quarterback 2 in this year's draft. Kyle McCord is my quarterback 4.
Okay.
I don't like them the best. I just think from like an overall value perspective.
For the Jets, right?
Yeah, where you're gonna get them.
Yeah.
Like
right.
Cam Ward is my quarterback 1 without a question. He's a good quarterback. Why I don't want to get him? If he's there at 7, you do your own evaluation. You're big on him. Sure, draft him. I just don't think he's worth trading up for. I just don't think he is a franchise guy. I just don't think that's who he is. Like, I don't think there was any franchise quarterback in this year's class. I'm looking for guys in this year's class with high floors.
Right.
That's what you get with Kyle McCord and Will Howard. Will Howard for me has the highest floor. He might have one of the lower ceilings, but he's the highest floor. Someone who's 6'4", 235 pounds, over 1,800 dropbacks, super experienced.
Yeah.
Was at the college level for a little while. That's another one concern though with his age. So I'm big on a few of the quarterbacks in this year's class, but not Cam or Shedeur.
And I got a quick question for you. Who is your official prediction to win the Asmaniac bracket?
Well, before I get to that, Jack, excuse me. Speaking of Asmaniac Madness, Jake Asman comes in with $20 super chat. Jake, thank you so much for all your supporting on the show. Please don't take my jobs one day. Here's allowance money for the two of you. Go Jets. Jake, thanks so much. I appreciate your support on the show. As always, who's my I got Chiefs fan winning it,
Yeah,
Jack.
Chiefs fan. Wow.
Jake, I know Gary's in your final four. Drop your pick in there here. Appreciate the $20 as always. Who's your pick to take home the best of the best trophy? Jake, throw it in the chat. We'll get to that. What about you, Jack? Who's
I don't know. Mikey's
home?
really growing on me the past month. Ever since he started calling, Mikey's really growing on me. You know, you have Charles, who's also grown on me a lot, like especially within the past few months. Originally, I thought he was okay, but over the past few months, I thought he really grew on me a lot. I have either between Mikey or Charles in this bracket.
There we go. I like it, Jack. So appreciate you calling in as always. Like I said, though, when it comes to quarterbacks in this year's class, I'm looking for guys with high floors who I think are able to come in and contribute immediately. So that's where I am. Appreciate you calling in. You got any final thoughts, questions?
Nope, that's all I had for you. Thank you so much for having me on, Connor.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Talks Jets checking in here on the program. Shoot him a sub on YouTube. Up and coming Jets content creator, just like myself. Shoot him a sub. Another younger Jets content creator in the business, so give him a sub. One of the best on the internet. He's the best. Jack Talks Jets. That's what it is on YouTube. Shoot him a follow. Shoot him a sub. Instagram. I think he's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. So follow him on social media. He's a great guy. Great content as always. South Philly with a 5-pack of gifted memberships. He gets a Jets chant. Jets, South Philly. Thanks so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Pat Rudy, Matthias Simon, Jake, Carly Fleischer, JPD, and that's it. Boom. You were all members thanks to South Philly. That is 5 more raffle tickets for you. Thank you so much for all your support. And the spree of gifting memberships and super chats are still coming in, baby. Jeffrey R., a 10-pack of gifted memberships. We'll give him a Jets chat. Jets. Jeffrey, thanks so much for the 10 gifted memberships. Hear your name called. You are a member now, thanks to Jeffrey. Michael Spytek, Anthony Cook, Raymond T, Train OP, Herman Lee, TC Nadine, TJ, Fully My Goalie ENT, and Ed Hoffman. You were all members. Thanks to Jeffrey R. Jeffrey, thanks so much for all your support. You're up to 30 more raffle tickets on this show, so we'll add that to your total. Again, the people behind Jeffrey I got to do afterwards because then I got to alter the places, but Jeffrey's in cruise control in first place, so we'll add that. He's up to 180 gifted memberships on the month, and like I said, guys, your time to get in on the membership raffle is running out because we're ending the raffle for this month on February 26th, and then we're drawing the winner on the 28th. So get in on the membership raffle if you haven't already. The more tickets you have, the better chance you have to win. Our guy, Awesome LA LaSalle, a channel member in the house, says, yeah, I can't wait for the draft party, my guy. Super happy you were able to see that announcement, LaSalle. Yeah, guys, draft party, first round watch party with our guy, Boy Green, April 24th, start time at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A ton of guests ranging from Jets content creators, broadcast personalities, analysts, NFL insiders, former and current players, former GMs. So stay tuned for that. Super fun stuff coming with Boy Green. Watch party for the first round of the NFL draft. Can't thank you enough for all your support. Where were we? Where were we in the chat here? Talking about Tyler Shook here. Rick Kent says 7 years in college. Is he a lawyer? I don't know. Rick Kent, he's like Tyler Van Dyke for those college football fans. Tyler Van Dyke, who was with Miami during COVID, and now he's still bouncing around. Now he's with the SMU. Tyler Shook, yeah, college for 7 years. And yet I know Todd McShay is super, super high on Shook. Look, I'm not opposed to Shook, but certainly not in the first round. By no means, not in the first round. Like, he has the size to come in right away and contribute as a quarterback. I have him as my quarterback 9 in this year's class. He's 6'5", 225. Again, he's gonna be 26 in December. 26 in December. He's a leader though. I mean, he's some mobility, fine velocity. The concern though really starts. Some of the lower half mechanics are less than ideal for me, and the age is the massive concern. We're talking about drafting someone who's going to be 26 before the season starts. 26. Can't do that. That's not in the first round, at least. It's okay if you want to do that on day 3, but no, not in the first round. Come on. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Jeffrey Connor, did you ever get Let's Get a Goddamn Snack? Or Bart Scott, Can't Wait? Jeffrey, I looked into that for you. I couldn't find a downloadable version of that. Couldn't find it. So I'm going to keep looking for that. Thank you for the reminder, though. Snowball, I like Arroyo at tight end. I mean, 6'5", 250 pounds. Great rapport with Cam Ward. Another guy who's able to go, has some speed. Able to go up, get contested balls. I'm a big fan of Elijah Arroyo. The thing is, he's not going to be there when they pick it. 92? They pick at 46, and then boom, it's all the way down to 92. So it's a long wait till the Jets make that next pick after their second rounder. I don't think he's going to be there, in my opinion. But however, if you trade back a few spots, you pick up an extra, second, you pick up an extra third rounder, and then you're in that 78 range, something like that. Then that puts you in position to land Arroyo. If he's there, though, you got to take him. Another name I like in that position, if he's there, probably not going to be there, though, similar to Arroyo. Ozzie Trapillo, the tackle out of Boston College. I'm big on him. Jeffrey R. with 10 more gifted memberships. Jeffrey, thanks so much for all your support. You're up to 190 raffle tickets on the month. I can't thank you enough, my friend. Gary King got the membership from Jeffrey R. We are all maxed out, it appears. So now I would prefer, if you guys want to help support the show for tonight, I would say super chats are the best way to do that. Every $2.99 super chat will get you a raffle ticket as well. Look at all these memberships we got today. I can't thank you enough. Let's go back and rewind. 20 from Jeffrey R. 10 from Rick Kent. Where were we after that? 10 from Rick Kent. Yeah, 10 from David D. 20 super chat from Jets Media and Jake Asman. I can't thank you guys enough for that. You guys are the best. South Philly with 5. Jeffrey R. with 10. Another 10 from Jeffrey R. And another 10 from Jeffrey R. Thanks so much, my man. Can't thank you enough. Again, 200 raffle tickets on the month, man. You're just insane. 200 gifted memberships on the month from Jeffrey R. Can't thank you enough. And again, our raffle the winners will be drawn on February 28th, but your last chance to get in on the raffle is February 26th. So running out of time to get in or add to your tickets if you haven't already. So 200 tickets on the month for Jeffrey R. Wow. Can't thank you enough for all your support. The membership should be distributed at some point tonight. That's what happened when Jimmy gifted 20 the other night. So those should go out soon. Just YouTube is super annoying with maxing out the memberships here. But Jeffrey, can't thank you enough for the gifted memberships. That's 200 raffle tickets in the lead now for our month. Like I said, appreciate you tuning in. Smash the like and subscribe is the free way to help support the show. Going to wrap up here soon, so smash the like, subscribe. Last chance to call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Last chance to get your questions in here before we wrap. Can't thank you enough for all your support, like I said, on the show. Ton of gifted memberships, a ton of super chats. Richie and Jake, thank you so much, my guys. You've always supported me since I started this over a year ago, and I really appreciate you guys super chatting me the $20. It means the world. Really appreciate it. So like I said, though, guys, last chance overall. Get in the show, pin comment to call in, and then throw your questions in the chat here before we wrap. Join our Discord with the link in the description down below. Could do that completely free. Helps us grow significantly. Get exclusive channel updates. Find out when we're going live before the rest of the public. For example, you guys found out at the draft party an hour or two before I announced it on Twitter. So some exclusive perks you get by joining the Discord. Also, when we have guests that are pre-recorded interviews, you get the opportunity to ask them questions, unlike the rest of the public who tries throwing them in the chat when it's not live. Two things here before we let you go. Thomas says Jenny would be nice. I like Ashton Genty. I think he has the potential to come in and be a better player than Breece Hall right away. The thing is, I just don't think they're going to draft a running back at 7. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it if they drafted Ashton Genty at 7. We're talking, all the blue chippers are off the board. You're looking at Malachi Starks, Ashton Genty, Will Campbell. You can't find someone to trade back with. It certainly wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Wouldn't at all. Talking about someone with lightning speed as the traits to come in, contribute right away at the NFL level. I wouldn't hate it. But if they do that, that indicates they have no faith in Breece Hall and they want to trade him before the season starts. That's what it shows me if they draft Ashton Genty at 7 or in the first round. Good question here from Caden. Who do you think will ask the first question for Glenn's interview? Tough. I see Jimmy says Connor Hughes. A lot of different directions I can go in. I'm going to go the veteran, someone who's been covering the team for over 35 years, friend of the show. Rich Cimini is my pick tomorrow. Rich Cimini, I think, will ask the first question to Aaron Glenn. And it's going to be, why don't you bring Aaron Rodgers back? Something like that. Jimmy makes a good point, says Jake Asman. Jake, if you're still in the chat, will you be at the press conference? Will you be at the press conference or tomorrow? Let me know. I know you're at Radio Row, and you'll have great content as always. But will you be at the press conference with Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji, and the rest of the media? Let me know if you're still in the chat. Jets will lie. Connor, you working on Corbett for the draft party, JetX connection. So with Corbett, I think it's going to be tough to work something out for the draft party, but I'm trying to get him on for a regular episode. I've been working on that with some of his folks. So we're going to try to get him on for a regular episode. I think draft party is going to be tough to coordinate with. But overall, for the draft party, stay tuned. We're planning on getting some current Jets on the show. We're planning on getting some former players on the show to tell their draft day story. Some former GMs, some current analysts who we've heard back from. So stay tuned for that. A lot of fun guests coming up on the draft party. Tom, I don't think they will pay Hall. Jenny might be a smart move, especially if we trade down. If you trade down, fine. I would be on board with it if they want to trade Breece right away. I don't think Breece is getting a second contract, though. I agree with you 1,000%. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to draft Breece if I had to make a prediction. Caden's the current Jets on the show. Breece Hall live reaction to getting traded. LOL. Imagine that. Imagine we had Breece Hall on the show when he got traded. Oh, someone's calling me. I gotta go. Breece Hall traded for a 3rd and a 5th round pick. That'd be crazy. Jimmy says get Keyshawn. I could try Keyshawn. You know, who's he with? Fox? He's with Fox. That could be interesting. I would love to get Keyshawn on the show if possible. Thing is, it's gonna be tough to coordinate. Like, Keyshawn would be great even just to have on as a regular guest. It's going to be extra hard. It's extra hard to coordinate with these people on draft night because it's busiest content night of the year, and so many people have plans and they have so many work obligations for the outlet they work for. So that's why we started. Boy Green and I wanted to get this finalized. We've been working on this for a few weeks now, countless amount of time on the phone together, trying to work sponsorships. The draft party, by the way, brought to you this year by our friends over at Homage and our friends over at Shoreline Sports Cards. Shoreline Sports Cards, for those located on Long Island, sports card store on Long Island and Port Washington, one of the best sports card store, really. As someone who has collected cards for a long time now, there's no place better than Shoreline to get cards, address your card needs. They do great breaks on Whatnot. Follow them, Shoreline Sports Cards LI on Instagram and Whatnot, and then Homage. You guys know the drill. Best vintage sports apparel on the internet. So the show isn't possible, obviously, without you guys, Boy Green and I, Homage, and Shoreline Sports Cards Long Island. So check them out if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys. Jeffrey says Marty Lyons. Marty Lyons is great. I've had him on. The thing is, he's going to be tough to coordinate with as well because he's an ambassador with the Jets. Marty Lyons is a friend of the show, but it's tough. It's going to be tough to get him because he already has a role with the Jets. I don't know if he's obligated to do, media stuff. Jimmy says so many draft parties live. Who do I watch? Hey, you want to get insight from former GMs, current analysts, former and current players? Hang out with Boy Green and I. Jack Talks Jets is watch Connors. Jack, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Like I said, sub to Jack's channel if you haven't already. Jack Talks Jets on social media, and then Jack Talks Jets live. Follow him. He was on the show a little earlier. Great stuff as always. One of the best Jets content creators. Shoot him a sub. Shoot him a follow. On social media, I can't thank you guys enough for all your support. That'll do it for me here on this Monday evening. Drop a like. Hit subscribe. On your way out of the building tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Back with Gunny Gumby of New York Jets Situation Report here on his weekly spot. That'll do it for me. I'm your host, Connor Long, signing off here on this Monday, February 24th, 2025. JTS, Jets, Jets, Jets.